Hello all and welcome to the first game of the Sunday Semi-Pro Cup Series hosted by, of course, NA Dota. These teams will be playing for $100 this week as always, and of course I am joined with Nizcast to give you guys some insight both into the draft, into the game. And I am excited for this first match. Of course, these are two teams that we don't really see that often in the later stages of the tournament, as that's what we focus on at the beginning. So no background information, but we can definitely tell you this game can be a lot of different things, and one of them, or most of them, could be exciting, and that's what we're shooting for here. But I'm really hyped for this tournament. I'm excited, and hopefully the delays will stop as the tournament goes on, but that remains to be seen. So, with this draft underway, we can get on into the first game.
Yeah, unfortunately that took a little while to get started there. Lots of teams tonight. We have 85 teams signed up in the tournaments, checked in. Crazy. I actually went through all the list of teams, and I counted 13 teams that I think are of the caliber that, or in the past, that we've seen get to the finals. So 13 teams are that strong. And that's not even including any kind of dark horse or anything.
Yeah, quarterfinals is going to be a very just to see who gets to quarterfinals is going to be probably the most interesting point of this tournament, because 8 of those 13 teams could be there, but 2 dark horses could arise from the ashes of the lower brackets of SCS. If any of you guys have ever played in SCS, it's definitely a hellhole is one way to describe it, as you can get a range from playing SNA to playing a team that doesn't even show up in the first round.
There's actually both finalists from Thursday night are playing.
Yeah, so
and both finalists from last Sunday night are also playing as well in this tournament.
That's very exciting, and I think it's worth noting before we get into the actual exciting part of this draft is that next Sunday, guys, be sure to tell your friends and stuff like that, and be sure to tune in yourselves. But it is the $200 tournament, and it is the season finale of the Sunday series, and there's a lot of money on board. I mean, $50 or sorry, like the $40 a person. It's nice, yes, but of course, winning the finals is a lot bigger prestige because everyone who plays is going to be there. Literally everyone, basically. So, but yeah, we can go ahead and get into this draft as we see the picks shaping up. It looks interesting so far. Of course, Brewmaster being first, not too surprising what he can do. Yes, he got nerfed in the previous patch, or in the current patch, sorry, but it wasn't too big of a deal. More of just a value point nerf than anything else. Skywrath, Mage, and Earthshaker will of course be the follow-up. For Crit Happens, 2 supports early on. Niz, I know you're not the biggest fan of this in the beginning of the draft.
Well, yes and no. I feel like picking 2 heroes like that really just puts it all out on the table and what you're going to try to do with your supports and what they're capable of doing. And that could potentially show a potential weakness. But when you have Skywrath Earthshaker, we've seen this combo plenty of times in the last few weeks, even prior to 6.82, of course. And these are 2 support heroes that can roam around. They can do a lot on the map. And I feel like that is one of the things that is very important.
There goes standard drafting out the door, Niz.
No, I'll get there. I feel like that's one of the things that's really important with the supports right now, is that ability to go around and really take over. I think it's around the 6-minute or 8-minute rune is when you really want to start taking control of the runes and taking control of the map. I felt like the games that we saw on Thursday night, that was what really went well for the teams that did that, and what helped them start snowballing and start getting on with the game and putting themselves in a good position in the game. Terrorblade's actually a hero that I think has a lot of potential.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. I love the hero personally.
And I actually don't think it's that shocking to see him get picked up. I think some of the strongest heroes in the game right now have already been picked up, or actually have been completely forgotten, which is kind of funny. But I think Valiant Armada is probably going to look to pick up a Lich. I think Lich goes incredibly well with Terrorblade. But we'll look to see if Crit Happens actually chooses to ban that out.
Yeah, no, and part of my reaction was not geared towards Terrorblade being a poor pick, more that I was expecting Thursday to see these kind of drafts where, you know, we get a Terrorblade or an LC early on and we just see a different evolution of the draft than we or deviation than we normally see. But it makes sense that after a few days of the patch, the teams have started to work in more you know, what they feel more comfortable in the 6.82 strategy playbook that they've come up with, and so I guess more deviations are going to come out today than what we saw from 6.81. And
well, I mean, you talk a little bit about Legion Commander and the fact that he got banned out here by Valiant Armada. I'm not convinced that this is a hero that's ban-worthy or even pick-worthy right now.
Ooh, Niz.
When I originally read the patch notes, and I've played a ton of him in the past, and I thought he was incredible. Her, whatever. It's a hero.
It's a hero. It doesn't matter.
And I liked the hero when I played it. However, with the patch notes and the changes and what I thought was going to be going on with the metagame, I felt a little conflicted, the fact that Legion Commander got nerfed a little bit. And I still haven't been convinced by any team that's actually picked it or played it, or by anyone that this is a very strong hero in 6.82. And unfortunately, we're not going to be able to get to see it this game, so they can't prove me wrong.
No, but we do get to see your Watermelon,
yeah,
and honestly, Crit Happens is starting to get a pretty strong team fight lineup, with also the ability to pick as the game goes along, which is very important for a lot of lineups. I mean, if you have one aspect of your lineup that's good and you're really good at it, that's important. But I like the way that they've drafted this because they can gank with the Earthshaker Skywrath combo, and actually Tidehunter adds to your gank with Gush a lot more than you think in a lot of situations. So I like what they, so far, it's a very diverse but strong draft so far. But Valiant Armada kind of has like the element of surprise. Terrorblade, late game, strong illusion push carry, and can win in the mid game if you get a big enough advantage and he goes a certain item builds. But Brewmaster, definitely mid game dominator, looks to, you know, kind of stave over the mid game for them. But they don't really have a strong laning phase yet, and that's where you mentioned the Lich. And so I think really Valiant Armada needs these next two picks to be really strong and define how they're going to get through the different phases of the game, because they've gotten parts of it. Whereas Crit Happens has everything they need to win, they just kind of need the filling. And Puck is definitely an interesting pick, but with the way that the offlanes have changed, I'm not too scared or upset to see offlane heroes that were bad on Dire before picked up for offlane Dire now.
I don't like Puck at all against Skywrath and Earthshaker.
That's true. Maybe they put, I mean, you don't put Brewmaster offlane against that either, though.
I mean, yeah, well, that's the problem with the first two picks. They pick two very strong heroes, but you kind of put yourself into a position where Bristleback would be a great hero to pick up, but you can't pick him up when you already have a Brewmaster and Terrorblade. You can't go triple melee core. That's not going to work. Certainly in this situation. And there are some other powerful heroes that are still left in here. Clinks is in there, but I don't think Clinks works on their lineup either.
Right.
You know, Spectre's still around, Necro's still around, but I don't see him getting picked up. If anyone's going to pick up Necro, it's going to be Crit Happens.
Yeah, they definitely needed something a little more durable in the offlane, but it's kind of hard in this situation. There's not a lot of heroes that can handle a Skywrath Mage Earthshaker. You have troubles against that. You can Fisher Block, obviously, the concussive to set it up, but most importantly, I
don't think anything's going to live there.
Yeah, no, I mean, unless you have Leap, but then, oh sorry,
Ooh.
Tiny. That's a fun pick, and I'm excited for that. But yeah, I was gonna say, of course, you could get Slark with Leap and Mirana with Leap to offlane, or other heroes that have those kind of styles of spells, but Skywrath Mage comes built in with the silence, so yeah, it's a really hard situation, and maybe that's why they pick the Puck. They're gonna lose the offlane anyways. Maybe their Puck maybe one of their players plays Puck very well, and they feel comfortable in his ability to set up team fights and get a Blink Dagger regardless of the bad offlane. But that remains to be seen if they can do that. They have a very frail lineup, Valiant Armada, right now. I don't know if you agree or disagree with that statement.
I definitely agree with it. I think Brewmaster can is going to find ways to die because Skywrath and Earthshaker and Tidehunter and like they all have a way to stop him from splitting. And yeah, they don't really have that much sustained damage. A lot of their damage is kind of burst oriented, but I mean that's going to be plenty to burst down a Brewmaster. Puck, if you can hit Puck, especially when it's silenced, Puck just falls over. AA's really squishy target, which is why he stands way back most of the time anyways. Terrorblade is probably the one that's least squishy, but you have so many disables and so many ways to lock him down so he can't Sunder, that Sunder almost becomes not an option.
Yeah, no, it's true. Every single hero is equipped with a way to deal with it. Some multiple. Because I'm pretty sure you can't Sunder while being tossed either, so... Maybe you can, because toss isn't technically a stun.
Well, toss has really weird interactions with a lot of skills. Like, well, and then I believe in this patch note they fixed it where toss would actually stop Jug from spinning. And there's a lot of other really weird interactions with that where toss would screw things up. So I actually don't know that interaction.
Well, that makes sense. You can't spin. You can't walk around spinning in circles while you're in the air, right? No, just kidding. But we do see that
that's
TA.
Really greedy.
That is greedy, and the TA pick. They picked that before, so it's not like Crit Happens knew that the Sand King was greedy, but they just had a nice pick. Because TA, yeah, they have a lot of instance damage, or multiple instance damage, but honestly, TA has a lot of potential in this game to just go off and do everything that Crit Happens, and then Earthshaker, Skywrath, and Tidehunter, even Tiny, if they play mediocre and the Templar Assassin goes off, Valiant Armada does not have much to stall it.
Well, I talked a little bit about Crit Happens having a lot of burst damage and not so much sustained damage. And when you think of TA, you think, well, TA's a lot of burst as well. But I think TA and Tiny will actually work quite well because you have the Tidehunter Ravage, you have the Fissure, you have the Skywrath Silence, you have even the Tiny Stun. You have a lot of lockdown that's going to allow TA just to stand there and be a turret throwing out her Psyblades. So I feel like she will provide that sustained damage. Ideally, I'd like to see something more range so that it could deal a lot more damage, but I think TA will work perfectly well in this lineup, and it's one of those heroes that putting her traps out and stuff will help them get map control, which I think is something that's very important in 6.82, if not more important than it was in 6.81.
I completely agree with that, Niz. And of course, without further ado, we can get into this game and start the introductions. For the Radiant side, we have Crit Happens. Galactic is the captain. We'll be playing the Skywrath Mage support. We have a Depley. Going to be picking up the support with them on that Earthshaker. They'll be playing with... I cannot read this name. I'm going to cheat and go to this. And we have Iman Alien as the...
I'm an alien. There you go.
As the tiny... I'm an alien. Okay, yeah, I see it. As the tiny carry. Dan and JJ. Or Danajon or something. As the Tidehunter. Solo bottom lane, and Wyoming as the middle Templar Assassin.
Alright, on the Dire side we have Valiant Armada. Playing the Terrorblade is Bako. Playing the Brewmaster is Wabu Wabu. We're gonna say it. Yeah, sure, I did that fine.
Yeah, no, Wabu
Playing
Wabu.
the Puck is Sloth of the Seven. Playing the Sand King is Poof? Whatever, and playing the Ancient Apparition is Zealot. Or Zealot, depending on how you like to pronounce it.
So Biko is going with an aggressive tri-lane Terrorblade. Now, how do you feel about this? I don't think it could be that bad at all, but especially with the AA, he did go Chilling, or interesting, he went Cold Feet first. Chilling Touch plus Metamorphosis is a metric ton of damage. Let's be honest here in the early game, and they have the stun to allow him to get 1 to 2 right clicks off, which is about the half the HP of the target. But it is again, like we saw a billion times on Thursday, tri-lanes dodging each other, going aggressive. So we do have tri-V solos.
What I think is weird is that the way that they chose to put the Brewmaster top and the Puck mid. Now, I don't see Puck doing very well against the TA mid at all.
No.
So it's kind of questionable why they would put the Brewmaster in the top lane rather than put it mid, because the Brewmaster would do better against the TA and the Puck would have an easier time Well,
Oh,
maybe
top
not.
lane,
Surviving.
Wabu Wabu. Yeah, he's in trouble.
I think actually
No,
the
he's
Brewmaster
okay.
would have an easier time surviving in the top lane. So
Yeah, no, that probably would have
I
been a
don't know.
dead
Maybe
Puck.
they were worried about Puck dying.
I mean, the orb probably would have got her out of that situation anyways, but that's just the first attempt. The second attempt comes with a toss, comes with a silence or arcane bolt, and also comes with the potentially enchant totem. I don't know if he'll go that or if he'll go straight into the 101 build. We'll see his choice shortly though. As we can see in the bottom lane, Tidehunter doing a good job getting his experience. Not getting as many CS like the Brewmasters. Will fix the CS chart. Sorry guys, I just noticed that. 1 CS for him, but Tidehunter is getting a decent amount of experience. Good side pull over here in the top lane though. That will stymie a little bit of the experience going to Brewmaster, but again he's having a great time in top like you said, and comparatively here. The aggressive tri-lane, oh, I'm going to miss first blood. I don't know how that happened, and I'm sorry that I missed that, guys. That's the first.
Missed it too.
That's
That
the
was rather
first major
surprising.
first blood that's happened that I've missed. A Puck, I'm going to be honest and say it, should not be able to kill a TA. TA is designed, not designed, TA is one of the hard counters to a Puck middle lane. But top lane, Wabu Wabu cut off a great Fisher block by Adeptly. Is going to force him to run around in a little bit longer, but
got a
Galactic
TP from
might
Sand King,
actually
though.
be in trouble here. And yeah, of course, Sand King did TP like you said, but I don't think they're going to be able to get too much here. I am an alien, all alone here as his Skywrath mage is very low, and now I am an alien might go down. Does the Brewmaster go down before him? It looks like good body blocks, but not enough though, as Poof does secure that kill, going to the side. Of course, we can see a fight recap now as they did fix that. But this is just early on stuff, not too exciting. But yeah, that middle lane kill is kind of a huge deal, and I'm sorry I missed it, but TA really needs to kind of make something happen now. Not in a big way, but in a small way, because the tempo advantage is towards the Puck. Like, she just got a kill in a lane that she shouldn't get a kill in. Or probably should die in at least once by 7 minutes against the TA. Especially with these.
I don't know about the fact that she should die in the lane. I think Puck really has to make a big mistake to die in the lane, but Puck certainly shouldn't be getting a kill. So obviously there was a little bit of a misstep there, or maybe Sloth of the Seven just timed his abilities really well and noticed that there was going to be a point where refraction was going to go down, and TA was vulnerable.
Always room to outskill in the bottom lane though. Tidehunter getting dove under tower, and it looks like Biko going to be the one diving. Gets turned around on as the TP in from Adeptly is able to secure that kill. It's an important kill for them as they were on the scoreboard. No longer are they though. And Tidehunter is an important kill for that to go to, at least in my opinion. You get early arcane boots on him, early blink dagger, and he can start to change the tempo of the game in your favor in a big way.
Well, so that was actually really greedy. Tidehunter just picked up his energy booster because he was right about to hit 1,000 gold. It's a little scary to do when you're safe lane against a tri-lane, but choosing to go the arcane boots, or the arcane energy booster before actually going his boots.
We all know what you mean is. Oh,
yes.
phase shift, a little bit wasted there, but doesn't look like they can go on him.
But there's been quite a good TP support from both sides here, as we saw Earthshaker TP to the bottom lane to help set that kill on the diving Terrorblade. But before that, we also saw Sand King TP up to the top lane, which also helped assist in them getting the kill on the Tiny.
Mm-hmm.
So support's making good use of the fact that TPs only cost 100 gold, and they can pick them up earlier now.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a very good deal. Galactic in the bottom lane is in big trouble in the jungle as he's going to get
good
stunned
blocks.
up, cold feet, and yeah, those blocks by Poof are as clutch as they need them to be. They're going to be able to secure that kill. Set it 3-1. Very easy nab. Very important nab. Because every single one they do to heroes like Skywrath and Earthshaker really offsets their ability to do the ganking that you were talking about. The control that those two heroes can have together. And this is probably, if not, the exact opposite of how crit happens once this early game to go.
This has actually caused that the rotations cause the Radiant supports to move to the bottom lane, which has actually allowed Panda to get right back up in terms of CS with the Tiny in the top lane, as it did turn into a 1v1, but Galactic, after dying, will actually make his way back up top to help Tiny get back in this game, because he is now only 4 CS higher than the Brewmaster, which is not what you want.
No.
You want your Tiny to definitely be off to a good start.
Yeah, it went
especially when TA is not doing as hot as they would like. Obviously, TA is doing great in terms of CS, 30 to 16, but of course that one death is going to hurt.
Yeah, the one thing that is definitely worth or very important for Valiant Armada is, of course, that Terror Blade. Yeah, bottom lane, it looks like a surround about to happen. As Danon is in big trouble, he's going to go ahead and throw the Ravage. Don't know if that's actually going to be worth it in the end, as there is TP support, but not enough to follow up any kills, and Ravage will be on cooldown for another 2.5 minutes. Niz, do you think that was worth the Ravage use?
No, it definitely wasn't worth the Ravage use. I think he thought that the TP was going to come in a little sooner, and they were going to be able to potentially get a follow-up kill or a return kill. But you have to feel for Tide there. He's at 410 gold, and he wanted his boots so badly. He knew, just need 40 more gold, I can just hang around here. I want to get my boots before the lane pushes and I'm back under my tower and I can't get them. So he was just playing a little greedy, and unfortunately that was the time that the smoke rotation came as well.
Well, yeah, this was about to heat up for a second, but it isn't going to yet. Yeah, and is like you said, that's one of those situations in a game that's just, it sticks with you for a few minutes in the game, but we'll see if Tidehunter can get his boots.
I played offlane for a while. I know that feel.
Oh, yeah, that's even worse, but we'll see what happens here. Of course, they do not have the Ravage for this engagement. 4 heroes for Valiant Armada in this bottom tower. Looking to take it. Poof, in the trees. You see the orb flying out slightly off the mark. Not going to hit anything, but does give vision of Tidehunter. Vision does not fade in time. Templar Assassin is seen, so they will back off here. This is not an element of surprise. Valiant Armada not going to take their chances, going to control up the runes, go ahead and back out. Meanwhile, Tiny, farming up against Brewmaster in the top lane, and Brewmaster, like you said, he's been getting a lot out of this, and I think I missed something. Close. No, okay, never mind. Maybe not, we'll see, as the puck does get the haste rune. It's probably what missed, as the puck was able to snag that away from the TA, and if TA got that, that's one splattered puck across the wall.
That was, puck had an empty bottle. And he was just walking right past the rune and left it there, and he's like, "Oh yeah, there's a rune here." Turns around, and it was a race to get the rune. And I don't even know how. Who am I? Didn't get that before Sloth of the Seven, but Sloth of the Seven did get it and ran away. But, it was definitely close. Photo finish on that one.
I like how you read that name perfectly, and I didn't even read it perfectly the first time. Of course, I called him Whammy, but that's not even close to what it is. Thank you, Niz, for saving me in these casts. Now I know. Really bad at reading stuff like that.
I'm scared to try Tidehunter's name.
Danon. Danon's good enough.
Danon's good enough for me too.
Danon Yogurt. Anyways, we do see the bounty rune in the top lane. Looks like it's going to be seized up here by the TA. That's big deal, guys. 68 gold going in her favor. But
it's denied. But it's the yogurt.
It's the yogurt. It is. He's sponsored by Danon. But anyways, Tidehunter might be in trouble. I don't know. 3 heroes here. This is looking a little sketchy. He does have Earthshaker off to the side, though. Fisher could stall up a lot of this aggression, but there's always a chance that they go down. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, we're missing it. A lot of action here as TA goes down to low health. 30 HP. Bottle going to be used. Does have meld and access. Now the orb slightly off the mark. Wouldn't have done enough damage. Anyways, even if it hit us, she is at 2, 3, 1. With, of course, Dream Coil build, but action in the bottom lane looking to heat up as Tidehunter is definitely surrounded by the wolves right now, and he's being corralled to his tower. The question is, do you want to corral Tidehunter under his tower and then dive to kill him? The answer is usually no. But we'll see if that goes in their other favor, because Terrorblade, what a hero when it comes to sieging towers, popping that illusions, getting that metamorphosis out, and he starts to hit like a truck. T1 already down to 600 HP.
Even Puck coming down.
Yeah, Puck, with the DD, so she could do a lot to both Tidehunter and this tower, but this tower should be completely surrendered here. Bottom tower falls to Terrorblade. Wabu's standing strong in the top lane, gonna be holding that tower as well as getting a lot of farm.
The reason Puck would rotate down there is because they either wanted to go for a kill on the Tidehunter, which wouldn't have been wise, and they chose not to do that, or they thought that the Radiant side was going to come and try to defend that tower, which I thought, based on the Tidehunter's positioning and everything, it was quite obvious that they weren't going to do.
Smoke? Oh, no.
So smoke did get popped there by Danon.
But yeah, I mean, the puck came for technically no reason, but they end up getting the tower no matter what. And now they're going to get a kill middle lane as they're rotating together. Adeptly will fall. And now who am I? In the wrong area at the wrong time, but maybe it's Sloth and team that's in the wrong place. As that Ravage hits on 3, the Anchor Smash helping to clean up both the SK and the A3 will fall. Double kill for the Tidehunter. And that's exactly what they needed. And TPs plus Ravage are a great way to change the outcome of any fight.
You know what? They knew that was coming too, because of course smoke got popped down here, and with having a ward here, they knew that there was no rotation.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, Niz, your mic cuts out when you draw. I don't know why.
What?
I don't know why, but yeah, we can see what you're drawing. They knew that they had to go one of 2 ways. And
well, they were either backing or they were making that rotation towards the middle lane, so they already anticipated it. Unfortunately, they did lose. Who did they lose off the start?
The Earthshaker.
Earthshaker, yeah.
But you know, when you get that kind of turnaround, it's definitely worth it. Top lane though, the action's going to heat up as we do see the split going out. The stun went on to I Am an Alien as he's going to get chased down again. Poof with these body blocks on the mark, but it doesn't look like they're going to be able to follow this kill up as maybe Brewmaster decides he's going to anyways. Fisher comes out and stalls up the Brewlings. He's going to continue to dive down to 500 HP, and it looks like he might have dove to his death here, but maybe not. Biku comes into the lane, able to snag that kill up in the background. Of course, we can see the fight recap. It's going to go definitely in favor of Valiant Gaming as Terrorblade was able to nab that up, and with the rotation, Terrorblade's going to be able to snag up this tower, definitely leading to their favor in that trade.
Well, although Valiant Armada definitely got an advantage there, we might have some action on the top lane as they look like they are going to contest
doesn't have any mana though, so they can't really contest too hard. Of course, there is that Arcane Bolt going to go out onto Wabu Wabu, but it's not enough to clean him up. Going to have to use that Avalanche to clean up the illusion, as it would have killed Galactic if they didn't.
But what I was going to mention there is that they may have gained a little bit of an advantage in the top lane, but Sloth of the 7 and Who Am I were racing for a bottom bounty rune, and although Sloth of the 7 was able to bottle it up, Who Am I just cleaned up the kill. So Puck died while all that was going on in the top lane. So kind of even in the end, because critical hit getting that kill at bottom rune.
Mm-hmm. But the one thing that did get out of them that's worth also factoring in is the Blink Dagger on Wabu. He is going to be there. He's only 100 gold away. And so the gold they lost on Sloth was gained back on their Brewmaster in a lot of ways. And now Brewmaster's going to have access to a Blink, and he can set up the fights. And so Tiny goes a Blink. This is definitely not the standard Tiny build we see when you tri-lane him or put him as a more farm-orientated core. But it looks like he's going to be going in for the ganking style of build. And that could definitely reward them with the kind of team they have. And yeah, already Poof top lane, about to die, 70 HP, does get the Burrow Strike off at the last second, will survive. So no exchange there. You
look at Who Am I, and the fact that he's picked up a Yasha instead of going for the Blink Dagger kind of burst-oriented TA build. Action, never mind, TP will go off. So it's more of a sustained damage build, which I talked about is what they needed, right? And that's what they were looking for with the TA pick. And they didn't really need the ability to jump in and initiate because, of course, you have the Tidehunter with Blink. And most likely you're going to get the Earthshaker, his Blink online soon, too. So you don't really need that initiation. However, Tiny did pick up a Blink instead of just going for the eggs. And I think that's actually okay because he does potentially see a weakness in the Puck and the AA, and the fact that he can just blink and blow up both those heroes, no problem.
Oh,
so maybe that is why I choose.
He's in big trouble in the woods, caught out by the Puck and the Brewmaster now, definitely in the same area. But I Am an Alien, gonna be able to blink in, get a great follow-up combo onto Sloth. But now the chase turns onto Adeptly as he has that AL debuff on him. Wabu Wabu with the double kill. Now Sloth, Wabu Wabu with the pursuit onto I Am an Alien. It doesn't look like that pursuit's gonna have any success, as now it turns into a chase. Side of critical hit, TA leading it. Do they want to pursue this out for the kills? Trap Detonation says yes, but they Blinks Forward decides not to go as the Tiny in, so they're not going to really pursue this, but they will turn this into a tower push, which will force a decision out of Valiant Armada. Do they defend? Do they not? And if they defend, how are they going to do it? But it looks like they're going to go for the trade, because Biku is already in the bottom lane. And it definitely can stall this a decent amount, but it is a Terrorblade. At a certain point, you can't stall it.
That tower is going to lose a lot of HP. I don't think he'll be able to kill it, but...
No, already down to half HP, though, on a T2. And it's technically a Roche tower, whereas the top tower is not a Roche tower. Too far away for Roche to really matter in this game. So more of the, I guess, a valuable structural trade here for Valiant Gaming is if they get that T2 here in the near future, it'll help their Roche control a lot. And the mid T1. Mainly the mid T1.
Yeah. The mid T1 and the bottom T2 for Radiant are definitely your two strongest Roche towers. Your actual T1 bottom doesn't even really matter all that much going to Roche.
Yeah, it's equidistant as the T2.
It's so far, yeah.
Yeah, they're about equidistant by the Crow. But of course with pathing it changes a little bit. Multiple heroes in the middle lane as we have a total of 8 on the map, 8 on the map in the middle lane, and the blink split is going to be there. Dream Coil as well onto I'm an Alien and Who Am I are in big trouble as I Am an Alien is going to fall, and so is the Sand King for this side of Valiant Gaming. Who Am I is going to be the second one to fall for critical hit as Depley gets stunned up by that rock from the Earthling, and now Sloth going to be able to get that double kill, cleaning up. Of course, AA also getting cleaned up by the Skywrath Mage. 4 heroes alive for Valiant Armada, sieging up this middle tower, and that was a big trade in their favor. Of course, if we go to the fight recap, we can see that they definitely got a ton out of that, my friend. A ton.
Yeah, that allows Puck to get his blink, or her blink, which really late timing, 17.5 minutes, but Puck did pick up the blink, you know, eventually she got there. So it gives them that sense of initiation. They'd like to see a blink on Sand King, and Sand King was at just over 2,000 gold at the start of all that. And unfortunately, he was the only casualty for Valiant Armada. But he's back up to 2,000 gold again with that tower kill. So he's getting real close. About 150
away now. Do you think they'll be able to get this
now.
T2 as well? Because that would get him the... I think there's too many cooldowns available for critical hit, but... Terrorblade. No,
well,
I guess he's out of Metamorphosis.
Here's the thing. You know that Tide doesn't have Blink because he picked up the mech. So you know that there's no sense of Blink initiation. You should have a pretty good idea that Earthshaker isn't close enough to have his Blink yet either. So I don't think you're really worried about any kind of jump initiation, but it is kind of risky because, you know, if Tide somehow sneaks up on you and he does get a good Ravage, it can go south real quickly.
Don't forget about Tiny. You can toss
true.
Tidehunter in, and that could end very poorly. For either side, to be fair. You know, you never know when you toss a teammate in what's going to happen.
I think you just had a really good team fight mid. You picked up a tier 1 tower. There's no sense to keep pushing it and really force it. If it is looking a little risky and you don't feel 100% confident with the fight, there's no reason to take it. And, I mean, you've got Terrorblade. You're fine with going really late. So it's more important for you to just maintain the kind of lead or advantage that you just gained in that last fight rather than try to push it too far and then potentially throw all that good work you just did away.
No, I completely agree with that sentiment. This game has slowed down a little bit since that middle fight and T1 siege. Of course, both teams kind of just farming up, but that means Blink Dagger for Sand King now available, Blink Dagger for Puck, and of course a Blink Dagger for Brewmaster versus only the Blink for, of course, the Tiny so far. So there's a lot more Blink initiation as far as just simple chasing power, escaping power from the side of Valiant Armada. But the catch-22 is, of course, they need to be able to execute with those Blink Daggers. If they're going to work for them, they can easily turn against them if they make a bad fight. Roche is available still, too, because it's a decent amount into the game. I think both teams have the capability to take Roche if they want to. Especially with TA on Radiant and Terrorblade on the Dire.
Adepley actually chose to pick up his Arcane Boots rather than just going Brown Boots Blink, so that puts him another 1,000 gold back. And I think part of that's the fact that Skywrath is dirt poor. Like, Skywrath is now 15 gold away from getting his boots. That's how far behind he is in this game. So,
I mean, I've seen banned heroes with more gold than him.
But yeah, obviously if Skywrath is doing better and Skywrath was close and being able to pick up those Arcane Boots, that would then allow the Earthshaker to pass up going the Arcane Boots and going for the Blink, and then after he gets his Blink, go and finish his Arcane Boots to supplement his mana issues. But unfortunately, Skywrath is quite far behind this game, sitting at 490 gold, Still not buying his boots. Maybe he's gonna get greedy and wait and try to hold on to the 187 reliable gold that he has.
Yep. Yeah, and when you
What?
pick a Skyrath mage... Sorry,
What?
go ahead.
He
All over the
he
place.
just bought a magic wand.
No, these are going on the illusions. Not entirely sure why.
What?
And yeah, who bought the magic
I mean,
wand?
his move speed's
Oh.
325. It's not a bug. Like, did he have boots and then drop them somewhere and hasn't realized, or what?
No, I think he's choosing to just go for the wand. And you know,
It's crazy.
he is an artillery hero, right? Like, you're never gonna have Skyrath Mage in the front lines. It's not like if Skyrath Mage dies, you probably lost the fight anyways because the rest of your team is dying.
But I mean, wouldn't you rather pick up your boots of speed, which is going to put you that much closer to your arcane boots, which is what Skyrath needs? Like, he needs mana. Like, I don't see the magic wand helping with that too much.
No, I definitely agree with your line of thought, but I think he's, you know, when you're in the zone, I need something now versus, you know, oh, boots sound nice in middle lane though. Who am I? In trouble. Gonna get clapped after, of course, the Burrow Strike and Sandstorm now with that Chilling Touch. Gonna pop the BKB. Will avoid a lot of damage. Choosing to turn right now. This could turn against him rather quickly, but not gonna continue the pursuit. Will back up as his team coalesces with him. But yeah, Niz, no, I definitely agree with you. I think it's relatively poor decision, but at this point in time, I think the Skyrath Mage is honestly the lion's share, not the lion's share, but the snapshot of what's going on for Critical Hit right now. They had a lineup designed to be ahead at this point in the game, and they are currently behind. And that's not where you want to be, especially when the team that is better as the game goes on is the team dictating the pace. Critical Hit needs to make something happen, but right now it's Valiant Gaming making it happen. They're going to go ahead and smoke up and group up in the middle lane. Easy pick off on the Skyrath Mage, of course, as he can't even move, even if he wanted to. Who am I? Going to be invisible right there. They are going to be able to see him, as they did spot him out. Dream Coil's there as well as the Frost Blast going to clean up Who Am I just a second before he ticks down, and now the Epicenter. Danon's going to throw out the Ravage. We'll get at least one return kill. Sloth is there as well. The Echo Slam from Adaptly going to help clean this up. Now it's a 2 for 2. Sloth in trouble. Make that 3 for 2. This is turning into a decent trade, but Brewmaster still hasn't used Split yet, so they're not going to be able to kill him as easy as they think. They do have Avalanche in a few seconds. There's the Fisher off the mark, though, as of course he did blink dodge that blink for 5. And Tiny now has
Well, all
Avalanche.
that's going on, though, in the top lane.
Hello, Terrorblade.
Thank you. Being
And
Terrorblade.
we look at the exchange, and it is a rather negative change for Valiant Armada, but that right there made the gold change, because they traded even in experience. Let me collect my words, guys. They traded even in experience according to the fight recap, relatively evenly, but they lost out in 200 gold total, but they gained over 1,000 from that tower take. And now I'm an alien in trouble. Gonna be stunned up as multiple heroes TPing in. There's the Frost Blast gonna hit on 2. Of course, we do have the blink forward. There's the silence on Adeptly, taking quite a bit of damage now. Wabu Wabu wants to trace, doesn't have that slam, but will get the crit onto the crit shaker, or not the crit shaker, the support crit shaker. As Who Am I gets stunned up. There's the Sandstorm. Who Am I going to pop the BKB? Wants to try to turn and fight here. Going to deal quite a bit of damage to Zealot. Poof just staying there. Invis dealing out damage the entire time, but Danon on the run as the Brewmaster Split is causing chaos. Poof going to get another good Burrow Strike blink off, and now Sloth going to deal quite a bit of damage to Who Am I with the Dream Coil. Might actually go down. Danon is there, though, to back him up. Throws out the Gush as well as the Anchor Smash, and Who Am I in trouble will actually still survive. Refraction, a great spell when you use it at the right time. Biku is actually in a lot more trouble than he was in that top lane, as he's going to go down. Double kill for I Am an Alien, as they wipe pretty much the entire team of Valiant Armada outside of Poof.
There's actually a regen rune even for in bottom for Who Am I, but he didn't see it. They don't have a word that actually spots it out. He's actually going to go and check top now, and he's going to see the bounty.
At least it does refill your bottle. That is a nice part about it for mids.
Yeah.
It's really, you know, the golden experience, but the bottle refill is really nice. Middle tower will go down, and honestly, Niz, we're looking at a relatively even game as this game continues on. It's been a back and forth, as both teams have held an advantage at some point in this game in experience. Net worth has been more of a story for Valiant Armada, but there is a big upswing on the rise for Critical Hits. Niz, what do you think about this current game state?
I think it's still slightly Valiant Armada favored. We've seen a lot of team fights that haven't included the Terrorblade. And although they've been going critical hits way, I still think once you throw Terrorblade in there, it's going to change things up. I think, obviously, we just saw TA chipping away at Roche there. I think the fight at Roche is going to be pretty important. One of the things that's going to be really important is whether or not Tidehunter knows about the new way that you can actually blink into Roche Pit from the Radiant side. If you stand by that tree, you can actually blink directly into the Roche Pit.
Yeah, so both teams have the ability to blink in secretly. I did not know that before this news, so thank you for that. Galactic going to be falling here as Poof and Sloth are in the area to clean up that kill. AA Blast was there, but not needed. As this game, again, it's relatively even, but yeah, Valiant Armada does have the favor because their team does go better in the late game. But you know, the one thing that is 100% worth noting is there is a few heroes that can deal with illusion heroes pretty well, and Tiny is definitely one of them. And if Tiny can get big enough and this game goes late enough, I think there becomes the threshold. I'm not exactly sure when that is or what farm that is for both heroes, but Tiny and Terrorblade are actually relatively evenly matched. Not in a 1v1 because of Sunder, obviously, but in a team fight, they have ways to deal with each other. So we'll see. I think that, you know, the later it goes, we could see a relatively even game. Hell, we could even see a 60-minute game, Niz, as we've never really been graced with one of those in SCS lately. It is a rarity, and I do enjoy casting a long game.
I think we saw a 50-minute one.
Yeah, but that wasn't 6.81 where it was a drawn-out advantage. 6.82 tends to have more of this back and forth momentum towards it, and you know what? I like that a lot, and that's a testament to the game being more balanced, because you need to be able to, or if you're able to turn the game around with skill and coordination at any threshold with a good draft, then it's more balanced, right? It's good logic.
I was actually just having a quick little look at all the items and seeing who's picked up what, and we didn't mention it, but Galactic has not only picked up his Boots of Speed, but he now has picked up an Arcane Boots, so he's running a lot faster than he was just a few minutes ago.
He's even picked himself up a Basilius ring, and
oh, he had that. That was his first item.
Oh, that was his first. Okay, I kind of missed that in the inventory. I kind of looked over that. Interesting for a first item choice. I was going to say it's interesting. Maybe he builds that later on into the Vlads, but we'll see.
You should actually have it activated, especially at this point in the game. You almost always want to be pushing lanes rather than trying to keep them back in static farming, which is why you would turn it off to begin with. So that should be on. Slight mistake there, but
not game impacting. Who am I, though? Going to be a game impactor here. As a Sloth, Wabu, and Poof want to chase him down. Dodges the Ice Blast now. Chase continues on to him. However, in the area is I'm an Alien with a 2-man stun from that Avalanche. Doesn't throw out the toss, however. Might have been able to net a kill with that. Not entirely sure we see the fish to go out. It's going to reveal to them that both of those are, of course, illusions if they didn't know already. And Niz, the infection is beginning as Terrorblade has another ultimate, ultimate orb. And is going to be able to pick up an Eye of Scotty in the next few minutes. And his split pushing just becomes even more terrifying the fatter he gets. The one thing is Tiny can clear the illusions, but I think this is where you favor Terrorblade in your default opinion, because he can split push and be around the map at multiple points with bots, and then that just constricts critical hits back. So the onus is on them at this point, I feel like, to get out of this quasi-contain that Terrorblade puts on them by split pushing.
Yeah, he's actually completely finished it right now.
Well, what am I saying? A few minutes, 1 minute later, not even 45 seconds, Biku has the item sitting casually on the courier, probably has a DR on it too, because why not? When you farm that fast, you can just stash it away for the later portion of the game. Insurance policy.
Danon was actually drawing on the map to, well, he was drawing lanes whether to push top or push bottom, or if we push top, bottom's going to push, or something.
I think they just want to keep pushing in the side lanes, right? Because eventually they're going to constrict them in enough to secure Roche. Bottom tower also is really low, worth noting. Again, we talked about that when the Terrorblade was sieging that tower. Already down to 496. It is not going to last long to a concerted push effort from Valiant Armada.
Obviously, Critical Hit doesn't know about all these wards, but it's very, very hard to push and put any kind of pressure on bottom with the ward coverage that Valiant Armada does have here. They've got essentially 3 wards
Oh,
covering
Galactic
bottom.
is going to actually be a casualty of that very ward coverage that Niz was discussing as he runs pretty much through dire vision the entire way to his death.
Yeah, that's actually just the benefit of, potentially saving some wards and saying, you know what, we feel this comfortable at this point in the
Oh,
game.
look at
Maybe
this
we can do
trap.
fine with just 1 obs.
Who's it a trap for, though? Is it a trap for Tide, or is it a trap for the dire side? As Poof is going to get gushed up, Anchor Smash going to drop him low. He's going to start channeling up that epicenter. Will Tide throw the Ravage? The answer is no, as it looks like he is going to
Doesn't
get...
need to.
Yeah, well, no, he will
Oh, he
anyways
does.
at the end of the epicenter. And meanwhile, the fight in the bottom section of it going looks to be dire favored. But who am I? Getting focused up by 3 heroes. Danon going to turn this around. 2 heroes down for the dire side. And now 5 alive for the Radiant. And Sloth is going to get bursted down by that Mystic Flare. 5 heroes for the Radiant are going to coalesce here.
But Terrorblade.
But, Niz is right. Niz is right. We have a Rax that has fallen. We have 2 Rax that have fallen. And that sucks because you're sitting there. You're like, guys, we won this fight. We're coming back into this game. But you all forgot about Rax and you look back at it and then your heart just sinks.
It felt so good.
But it was so wrong. Unfortunately, that's what happens, and Terrorblade just going to go ahead and
Oh.
TP into the bottom lane and clean up that Tiny. Of course, Scotty is one hell of an item against him, and Craggy Exterior is an amazing ability, but only against heroes that will smack you at melee range. This Terrorblade does have Metamorphosis to resolve that issue. Free kill, free Rax, and this game, Niz, you might as well be Nostradamus. Terrorblade is a terror. And he's doing a lot in this game for the side of Valiant Gaming, or Valiant Armada. Might have just secured them the victory with that Rax.
Well, I wouldn't say secured, but it definitely puts them in a really good place as this game is going to progress. I find it very difficult for Critical Hit to do much to actually try and overcome this deficit in the sense of this Terrorblade just being gigantic. Valiant Armada is actually positioning for a Roche here as... Oh, no, they're actually not going to do
Valiant
it.
Armada is very comfortable in their position. Wabu Wabu going for the BKB before Aghanims on the Brewmaster. 10-second charge, obviously, but
Why don't they Roche?
it's a defensive item. They'll be able to stop all the silences, and I think they're mainly just wanting a fight. Or they're scared. I don't know. They know the position of
But-
everyone except for... Maybe it's I Am an Alien, right? They don't know where he is right now at this very moment.
But they know Ravage is on cooldown. They had just killed Tiny. Tiny was actually still down for a bit there.
Oh,
They
yeah,
had
you're right,
potential
He
to
just
Roche.
respawned. Yeah, he couldn't have gotten too far. There's only one tower he can TP out to, so maybe a little bit of conservative thoughts, and that might come to bite them in the ass. We'll see. They have a lot of leeway left in this advantage they've created by getting the top racks. So it's definitely not a game-ending error, but it's definitely something that could come to hurt them. Although the initiation begins, Wabu Wabu, of course, with that BKB is just going to get annihilated, and so is the Sand King. As Adeptly going to get focused up by the Orb and the Ice Blast. Good combo there. They will be able to clean up the A in the background, and 3 are down for the dire side as Valiant Armada is going ham. Alien wants to clean up the puck here as the puck will try to throw himself in the air, but it's in vain. As there's a Skywrath Mage there to silence him up. Damage is there. Right clicks are there. Spells. And now the push is as Valiant Armada looks to capitalize on that indecision that you were speaking to. How would that fight have gone if there was a Roche on? And the other thing that's worth noting, Terrorblade not in position to split push, so this push is going to do a lot for Critical Hit. And they still have all of their cooldowns.
I mean, they're essentially going to take this tier 2 mid. They're going to get Roche, and they're probably going to clean up tier 1 bottom, all because of that. They have to... Well, they might not get the tier 1 bottom. They should definitely get Roche here. But I don't... Galactic and I'm an Alien aren't going.
Well, A Blast going to be running down middle lane. There's no one to really hit. Tidehunter can push decently fast, though, of course, because he
They're
can...
not going to get Roche. I don't understand. I'm an Alien should have gone there.
I feel like, who am I at this point? I don't know. At this point, it feels like a little bit of indecision as Danon is going to be caught out in the top lane trying to push that, like you said, going for that bottom tower. The team's not there to support him, though, and there's 4 heroes chasing him. No, 3, sorry. There's an illusion as well, as Danon looks to make a 360 here, try to get them around, try to give them the jukes, but you can't juke when they have vision of you, when they are surrounding you. He will fall. Valiant Armada strikes back from indecision of Critical Hit, and now Biku might be in trouble. Or maybe it's the Radiant side that's in trouble. Ice Blast going to fly through, but it looks like it's going to be pretty much off the mark. Doesn't hit on any of the heroes. But Biku looks to set up the fight, as there is going to be that Scotty slowing Adeptly. Adeptly's just going to immediately melt. I'm an Alien, as well as Galactic, are going to get Dream Coil by the puck. Great play by Sloth, and of course the Burrow Strike Epicenter following it up from Poof. Will be able to clean up the Tiny, and now the siege for bottom racks. And this is the scary part about playing against an illusion carry.
We'll be able to push through back door.
They don't have Fortify either for a minute. With the illusions disappearing from the Manta, I don't know if they can. They do have one more illusion spawn. Maybe this will be enough, down to 800 HP. The forward in 20 seconds, respawns in 15 seconds. There's the A Blast, the right-clicking are going down. It looks like this tower should fall, as Wabu Wabu is just going to tank that. Tower goes down. Will they be able to get the racks? They have 8 seconds. The focusing is beginning. The range racks will go first. Will they go for the melee racks as well? Looks like they are going to consider the effort for it. And of course, backdoor is now down because of that top lane being pushed through. 2 racks down. Valiant Armada striking back in a big way. Poof, though, and Zealot might be caught out here. Echo Slam expended to guarantee the kill on that AA. Was it worth it? Maybe, maybe not. But the bigger issue is that there are 2 racks down in this game already, and that's not a good sign.
Now it's Roche time.
Well, I mean, Niz.
It should be.
the last 2 times.
It should be.
The last 2 times, one player
has
has been on your wavelength, and the rest of the players have not been on your wavelength. So,
Oh, get it.
interesting decisions coming out of these teams. But,
Killing Roche. Go Sand King.
do you think that Critical Hit has a way back into this game under their own power, or is it really just Valiant Armada's game to throw at this point?
They're pinging Roche. They're going Roche. They're on the right page. But it's tough. It's a tough one. They basically have to go Roche here. They have to kill Roche, get Aegis, and wipe Valiant Armada when they would try to engage here.
And bottom and middle, or bottom and top, are already pushed into their base, basically. This is a tough situation. They are going to go ahead and just choose to back up for now after securing that Roche. It's probably a decent decision. They'll want to push out their lanes to a decent threshold so that they have time to go down middle. But we'll see what they end up doing. Of course, Who Am I has picked up that Daedalus, and we've seen RNG win games before in his. It wouldn't be the first time. It won't be the last time. A good crit spill could definitely wipe Valiant Armada, but Wabu Wabu goes for the crit or the courier kill. Wasn't entirely sure what was on that courier, but it was 750 net worth. Not much.
It was sitting out there with just a bottle, like an empty bottle, and a GG branch. Probably from, well, Who Am I would have put his bottle on there, so we had room for the Aegis.
Well, not too big of an impact, but you know what? Valiant Armada doesn't even care that the Aegis is on the side of Critical Hit. They're going to go ahead and apply the pressure straight to them adeptly. Doesn't know the Poof is right next to him. There goes the A Blast. It's going to give them vision of all of them. Wabu is going to go ahead and reveal, but not yet. He's going to wait till after the Burrow Strike's done, and now the Blink Ravage on 4 is big. The Shiva Guard to follow up is going to help out, but there's the split. But here comes the Tiny BK beat up, doing a lot of damage, cleaving through. Brewlings are almost all down, and they are down except for the Earth one, but the Blink Epicenter stunning through too. I'm an Alien and team getting absolutely eviscerated here. Definitely wants to come back, but does not have enough health to be able to get that Echo Slam off. And Who Am I? Last one standing for the Radiant side. Don't think he's going to be able to win this one. Will go into Melt. Does try to focus on Wabu. Gets one right click, but the dodge chance is there. Biko, interestingly enough, sunders him, giving him all of his HP, but maybe that was just a BM play. A Manor Mule, if you want to look at it that way, as we do see the GG called out from Critical Hits. GG, well played, and definitely an exciting game from both of these teams. Both have a lot to work on and look forward to, but Niz, what are your final thoughts and recap of this here game?
That last fight actually was going pretty well for Critical Hit. They focused, Depley got focused off the start and he died. But then Danon got actually a really good Ravage. And I think Adeptly should have just bought back immediately. Had he bought back immediately and TP'd in, he would have then been able to blink Epi because he didn't use Epi before he died. And that would have really helped them win that fight. But his buyback was really, really late. It came maybe 8 or 10 seconds after he died. So we got to the fight really late. I believe Who Am I was the only one still up by the time Adeptly got there. So he should have just been a little bit quicker on the trigger there with the buyback. But would that have won them the game? No, it probably would have won them that fight. But the big problem was the Terrorblade that got out of control. Mm-hmm. So they've got to find some better way to keep control, or I guess keep down a Terrorblade, because he got kind of out of control, and he was doing a lot of split pushing. And although his team was fighting 4v5, Critical Hit was not able to dominate those fights given the extra player. But yeah, it was actually a fun game. It went back and forth a few times.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed it myself. And if you guys enjoyed this game, or if you enjoyed our cast, please follow at twitch.tv/DotaRaptors if you're in the channel down below. Of course, it's right there for you. YouTube is also linked below, or if you're lazy and you just want to type it in the browser, youtube.com/DotaRaptors. All the VODs are available there. And of course, you can follow Niz, as of course he is your analyst and gives you guys lots of insight on Dota. And great guy to follow, of course. He's co-casting with me. But at Nizcast at twitter.com. But that'll do it for us for round 1, guys. We'll see if we can get into round 2 action. There might be a round 3 game that's coming up next instead, but we will see and we will update you guys. But until then, enjoy the music and thank you so much for watching.